7 tips you must know before you start your farming business. Well, when it comes to farming, guys, I know a lot of you be like, yeah, but I got a budget. Wait. There's a guy around Val who started farming with just 1,000 rand. And after look, that video is here in this channel. That guy is from Malawi and did not have options, and he started his farming with just 1,000 rand. I also did another video where a student started farming with NSFAS allowances. So don't look at it from the perspective of, it's so expensive. No. What is expensive is your mind. That's just in your mind, but not necessarily everything associated with farming. So when I talk about farming, don't look at the end goal of having a big farm. No. So these 7 steps are relevant for each and every one. Regardless of even those that are living in suburbs, there's now a way of farming while you're living in your flats or whatever. There's now a new way of farming. It's called vertical farming. I will do a separate video about that one. But for today, let's just stick to this video. 7 tips you need to learn when you're starting a farming business. What are they? Well, let's unpack. But before I unpack, there's only one favor that I'm asking from you, and that is you subscribe, you like the video, and you comment in the comment section below, because doing that, guys, it does help out a lot when it comes to the YouTube algorithm to promote and spread this video to as many people as possible. So the power is in your hands. We're looking into farming, and we want to accommodate those that are in farming. I've done a lot of videos, by the way, around farming, so you must appreciate that. But again, 7 tips you need to know before you start your farming business. Tip number 1 is approach your farm as a business, not as a hobby, right? There's an article that was released near this 7 tips was given by a commercial farmer, by the way. And then he goes on to say, Uti, if you want to start a business and turn it into a livelihood and turn it into a profitable business, he goes on to detail this thing, and he's like, no, the first thing you need to have in mind is start small. That's the first thing. The second thing is you start producing for people in your community before you can produce for people for the province and then for the whole country. You start focusing in your community where you provide necessary things for the people in your community. Then you can scale up the business slowly but surely. You know what I'm saying? And then it also says that you need to produce things that are needed in the community so you can have the money circulating. So start with that end goal in mind, which, okay, so I want to supply these people with this and this and this and this, which is a need to my community, and also the soil I can plant something like that, and then start with that thing in mind. Plant things like that. Now let's move on to point number 2. What is his point number 2? He says point number 2, plan your farm profit first. If you want to establish a farm, it's not a small idea just to plant a bush or different crops, hope for the best. Rather, you should prioritize profit while making plans. You need to have a firm grasp on your end goals. You understand? So he typically says that these are the things that you need to follow. Which, number 1, start your farm as a side business where you can keep your full-time job and work on your farm in your free time. 2, or in your spare time. 2, start your farm as a part-time business where you can reduce the amount of time you work on your current job and devote more time to your Number 3, start your farm as a full-time business where you save enough money to survive for at least a year without any income and devote all of your time in the farming, right? The list goes on of the things that you need to know. But I think, when I was reading this article, I was like, wow, I like this interview because it is more relatable. I mean, I have a business experience, so I know when something is more relatable to somebody that is out there wanting to start. Point number three, he says, focus on revenue generating task. Spoke about this. I don't know how well we need to emphasize this. One of the difficult lessons that I needed to learn when I entered business is the separation between charity and business. You know, we business enthusiasts, we've got the tendency of coming up with a brilliant idea, but we leave the most important aspect of the business, and that is the sales. If you cannot plan how you're gonna make the sales, then you don't have a business. What you are running is charity. So you need to distinguish that. Guys, you find people with a very powerful business idea, and you're like, okay, I see. I told some of my friends in Pretoria is around Joburg, by the way, Johannesburg. So they were starting another business, and I told them that, okay, these are the things that you need to do. Look into this and this and this. And they're like, no, we know. We want to do it our way. Today, that business has collapsed. Certain things that I saw it from a distance, this business is going to collapse. You know why? Because I've got an experience in the business. I see when something is about to... So, when I say to you, you cannot exclude the sales part of the business. You can plan a nice, good business, but if you exclude how you're gonna make the sales, then you don't have a business. Forget about a business. Let's move into this one. Point number 4. Point number 4 is invest time and effort in customer relationships. When it comes to building a relationship with your customers, the first impression counts. Remember, when we first presented ourselves to our potential customers during the market research phase to find out what they actually demand was, we made sure we always look clean, presentable. Little shave, clean nails, and decent clothing can go a long way, and first impression lasts. But again, so you need to build that customer relationships. I don't want to go into details because everybody knows what that looks like, right? So we all know what it looks like. Let's go to number 5. Number 5, guys. This is number 5. Identify customers and demand before starting growing. Before starting to grow, investing in tools and anything else, it is critically important to do a little bit of an upfront research. Get to know the demand in your area and specifically identify who your main customers will be. Look to, I don't want to go deeper into this. What they are telling you here, it's what you have done probably in your primary or high school. You have done what you call it SWOT analysis. Now, SWOT analysis give you things like that. They ask you who's going to be your target audience. Even this video on YouTube, I know on YouTube that this video is mostly watched by young people, and surprisingly from the age of 18, that's the majority of consumers here, from the age of 18 to 25, that's the highest volume. And then from the age of 25 to 35, that's the second volume. Let me tell you what, the second part of the people that are watching, majority of these people are males sitting on 52%, while women are sitting on 48%. So you can see that. So I already know what type of people I'm talking to. You know what I'm saying? So whenever I'm doing my research, in mind, I already know who am I talking to. So when they're talking about knowing your customers, they're talking about things like that. You know what I'm saying? I already know who to, okay, I'm talking to people like this and this and this. So people like this and this have got this type of challenges, and whatever I'm doing, it is me trying to solve their challenges. Now, number 6 says, start small with the right equipment and grow over time. This one, it's self-explanatory. Sometimes we are so tempted into thinking that we need everything before we can start. I would rather have you fail, I would rather have you fall than to have you keep learning yet never act. No. I'll never motivate you to do that. I want you to have a minimum of planning and a minimum of actions. Because there are things you can never learn unless you act. They say experience is the best teacher. Today I speak of business this way because I've learned from my past. I've run multiple businesses. There's one business that taught me the hardest lesson ever in my life, and you know what I'm saying. But again, even the other ones, then they include, they add and add and add and add. And certain things you will never know unless you are in it. Never, never. The last point, being point number 7, says track everything. Here, I almost, that's one lesson as well that I learned. But I almost mastered it before everything. Now, tracking everything, guys, is important in this aspect. I remember I was in another business after the other business that I keep saying it collapsed. So I went into another business. I could keep weekly report. Then I will sit down and I will look at the reports, and then I'll be like, okay, but last month I made this much. Then this month I made less. What has changed in these things? So I will go and look at the reports. Then I'll look at how I spent. You know, that's where I saw, no man, I'm losing a lot on airtime and I'm losing a lot on petrol. But if there was no track record, where was I going to learn all of this? So track records helps you to understand your behavior, your spending behavior, and it also helps you to understand your shortcomings, and then also helps you to understand, good to know, sometimes it's not your fault, it's just that, like, you know, with an inflation, and then you will say, oh, there's rise of inflation, petrol, airtime. No, it's not my fault, but let me find a way on how to survive within this, you know. So it gives you those type of insight, and also it helps you critically. You know, the idea of keeping every track record, this is where it helps you. It helps you in terms of, even if later on I will to come and say, oh no, you once said this, it once happened to me. I had an agreement with the person that I have employed at the time on that business, and then I said to her, do 1, 2, and 3, and then she agreed. Then I wrote down as I was speaking to her, you're gonna be doing 1, 2, and 3. I came back a week later because I wasn't full-time in the business anymore. I was running another one. So I drove to the business, and then I was like, I asked you to do 1, 2. She's like, no, when you said this, and it is written, it's here. These are the things that I ask you to do. What are you saying? No. I said, but here, it is written. The power of writing things down. You'll thank me later. Even agreements. The reason that business put me under debt is because of didn't write certain things down. So the person changed later on and said, no, I didn't enter that agreement with you. There's already a proof from her side, Guti, the money went into my account, but there's no proof in terms of the agreement. So those are the things that you look for when whatever you do in your business. Keep track record. Whether it's just a 1-week agreement, write it down. Whether it's just 2 weeks, write it down. You will thank me later. And I will never emphasize enough this. Even if it's just a week, just a day agreement, write it down. When I buy airtime for myself using business, I write it down. When I write it down, because I know you will never regret this. I learned the lesson the hard way. You don't have to learn the lesson the hard way. You will thank me later if you do this. Till the next video, good people, please take care.